Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Krishna, dear devotees, my humble obeisances all goes to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much for joining His Holiness Chandramauli Swami Maharaj's daily class. Today we are continuing with Srimad Bhagavatam, series of first canto, 16th chapter, verse number 31. And we are very happy to have His Holiness Chandramauli Swami Maharaj on our call today. Hare Krishna Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances all glories to Srila Prabhupada. You can please take over, Maharaj. Thank you so much for your association. You can please take. Maharaj, you're on mute, Maharaj.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Atmanam Chayuso Chami Bhavatam Charotamam Devam Pratim Rishim Sadun Sarvan Varnams Tatasramam. Translation. I am thinking about myself and also, O best of the demigods, about you, as well as about all of the demigods, sages, denizens of Pritiloka, devotees of the Lord, and all men obedient to the system of Varna and Ashram in human society. Purport. To effect the perfection of human life, there is cooperation between men and demigods, sages, denizens of the Pritiloka, devotees of the Lord, and the scientific system of Varna and Ashram, orders of life. The distinction between human life and animal life therefore begins with the scientific system of Varna and Ashram, guided by the experience of the sages in relationship with the demigods, and gradually rising to the summit of reestablishing an eternal relationship with the Supreme Absolute Personality of Godhead, Lord Shri Krishna. When God made Varnashram Dharma, which is strictly meant for developing animal consciousness into human consciousness into godly consciousness, was broken by advancement of foolishness, the whole system of peaceful and progressive life that is once disturbed. In the age of Kali, the first attack of the venomous snake strikes against the God-made Varnashram Dharma, and thus a person properly qualifies as a Brahman is called a Sudra. And a Sudra, by qualification, is passing over Brahmana or on a false birthright claim. To become a Brahmana by a birthright claim is not at all bona fide, although it may be a fulfillment of one's of the conditions. But the real qualification of a Brahman is to control the mind and the senses, and to cultivate tolerance, simplicity, cleanliness, knowledge, truthfulness, devotion, and faith in the Vedic wisdom. In the present age, consideration of the necessary qualification of being neglected, and the false birthright claim is being supported by a popular, sophisticated poet, the author of Ramacharita Manasa. This is all due to the influence of the age of Kali. Thus, Mother Earth, represented by a cow, was lamenting the regrettable condition. Magyan Timirandasya Ganajana Salakaya Chaksum Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Srimati, put on the full screen if you can, instead of a partial screen.
Good Maharaj, you can do it on your side, Good Maharaj. Mine is already full screen.
I can't see how to do it. Let's see. I can see all of you, and I can see the screen on the side, on the middle, but I want to cut out all of the devotees and just see the screen now. Let's see, view options. Exit side by side mode. No, I don't want that. Okay, got it now. I got it.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Umagyantimirandasya Ganajana Salakaya Chaksu Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Mo Vishnu Badaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gangavani Pacharine. Nirvisesa Sunyavari Pastyatya Devi Satarine. Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasari Gaura Bhaktivinoda Vanchakalpa Tarubhascha Kripa Sindhu Paepacha Patitanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Maho Namaha. Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasari Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Chaturvana Ayasrishta Guna Kamba Vibhagasaha. If these four orders of life were established in me, I have established the system. And this system is established because people in human life, that is human life, fall into four categories generally in the civilized aspect of society. The Brahmins, the Kshatriyas, the Vaishyas, and the Kshatriyas. This is called Swadharma. Means one natural.
Maharaj, can you come closer to the system or computer? Your voice is very low for all of us.
This is a natural system of development. And as it says here, the whole system is meant to raise one from animal consciousness to human consciousness, and from human consciousness to God consciousness. The foundation for the cultivation of the higher consciousness, without a foundation, just like if you want to build a building, if you don't have a foundation, there's no building. Foundation is what sets the stage for the higher development. So the Varnashram system, Varna, 4 Varnas and 4 ashrams, are meant for human society to develop from the material to this, from the animal consciousness to the human consciousness, from human consciousness to godly consciousness. Srila Prabhupada talked unlimited, I don't know, you might say, practically many of his lectures, he mentions the Varnashram system in one way or another. He talks about it. A little history of the ISKCON development of the Varnashram consciousness by Srila Prabhupada was that initially, when Prabhupada, although he spoke about it, he said society is too topsy-turvy. Therefore, to establish Varnashram is not possible in today's society because there's no system of education by which one can actually develop from that point. And then Prabhupada emphasized book distribution, temple opening, initiations. Initiations means to educate people, to qualify them to come to the point of accepting the path of Bhakti Yoga. And then once one is educated sufficiently, they can execute the process of Bhakti Yoga. And then, of course, there's 2 stages of initiation. There's the Harinam initiation, which connects one to the Parampara system. And then the real initiation, or complete initiation, is the Brahminical initiation, which is part of the what is it called? The stages of life, the different what is it called? Sukritis, the different stages of life. It's called the samskaras, the different samskaras. So there's a upanaya samskara, which is meant to upanaya is actually Brahminical initiation, and that's one of the fixed samskaras within the human culture. And that brings one to the platform of practicing devotional service fully. And one who is on that platform has developed, at least to a certain degree, the qualities of a Brahmana. As Krishna mentions those qualities in the Bhagavad Gita, Saucham, Samadhamma, tolerance, equanimity, peacefulness, simplicity, knowledge of the scriptures, practical application of that knowledge in life, following religious principles. There's 8 qualities mentioned there. And in another Shastra called the Sanat Sujata, 12 qualities of the Brahmins are mentioned. But Prabhupada very systematically developed this whole ISKCON society. It didn't come haphazardly. Prabhupada had a plan all the way from 1949 when he first penned his article called Gita Nagari Concept. And in there, he aligned himself with these 4 principles. The first one was holy books and holy names, engaging people in chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, and writing and distributing holy books, Shastra. And of course, temple openings. Prabhupada, one by one, temples were opening all around the world. And you see now we have more than, it's hard to even estimate right now how many we have. The temples are opening every year in different places around the world. There are more than, combined with and schools and in restaurants and other types of establishments for Krishna consciousness. We have over 600 different agencies, and at least 200 of them are different temples around the world. Prabhupada has really established this, and that was part of his plan also. And the third one, of course, was initiation, education, and coming to that. But the last part, Prabhupada said this one ashram is not possible. But then he, in 1974, Prabhupada came out with a whole different direction. He said, if chanting Hare Krishna is so easy, why are my devotees are falling down? Why are devotees falling down? And so he was very much concerned. He said, now we have to establish this Varnashram within our ISKCON society, and we called it Daivi Varnashram, which is opposed to a material Varnashram. Material Varnashram is your Swadharma, you work in a material way. But Daivi Varnashram means you serve the Lord according to your material propensities. You serve as a Brahmana, you serve as a Kshatriya, you serve as a Vaishya, or you assist in different ways. You can also serve in the category of Sudra. And each of those have certain designated activities that align themselves with each one of those categories. The Brahmins are they give direction to society, they give ideas, they're the intelligence behind everything. They accept charity, they teach, they also give in charity, they worship the deity also, and they also teach deity worship. They're teachers, they're guides. The Kshatriyas are organizers, they're temple presidents, they are martial spirited personalities who are there to protect the society and everything within the category of the society, such as the devotees, the deities, the temples, the material assets of the society. And they also give welfare to people who need it. In other words, they're very charitable. And the Vaishyas, they banking, commerce, cow protection, cow care, and ultimately, um, farming. And then you have the Sudras, arts and crafts, and plus assisting all of the other three higher varnas in their work also. The system as a scientific system for development. So Prabhupada wanted that within our society so we could actually develop really within the society qualified people in each of the categories, which in a very social in a social environment where each one will be working according to their capacity and their propensity according to their nature. And then you have the whole body is functioning nicely, and it's all directed towards service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So Prabhupada in 1974, started to speak a lot about this Daivi Varnashram. And he said, in order to establish it, we need to set up a Varnashram college, where the Brahmins who are established in their Brahminical activities will be the teachers for the rest of the society. They'll also teach Brahminical topics, Brahminical activities, along with teaching Kshatriya and Vaishya activities. Sudras and things don't need to be taught there. They can be done automatically. They learn simply by performing the activity. So Prabhupada had but then again, the question came how to develop it within the society. And so there is an effort in that direction, but this is the foundation for success. And once Varnashram is established in an organized way, in our society, Krishna consciousness will spread around the world so fast. So fast. Really fast. You'll see it'll be like hitting the gas pedal in a race in the highway and pushing it to the floor. Because this Vaivi Varnashram is the foundation by which everything develops nicely. What we have in our society today is a loose form of Daivi Varnashram where people are working. Some are working are serving in their capacity, and others are not. Others are disenfranchised because they're not engaged properly, although they may accept some service, and therefore they do it. But the ideal society is Daivi Varnashram. Prabhupada is talking about material Varnashram here because he's referring to the whole human society. And then material Varnashram, ultimately is the foundation for a holistic society, which includes all of the activities that are necessary for human culture and human development. But unfortunately, there's no educational systems within the society to bring that about. They're not interested in that. Society is simply interested in bringing the workforce for an economic gain for a few for about 1 or 2% of the population who owns all of the resources, or at least controls all the resources in society. And so it's run by greedy persons who have no interest in social development, but personal interests. And their social development is simply economic development in the guise of progress. Well, where's the progress? Real progress is human culture, and it's to come away from the sinful activities that go on in human society. Meat eating, illicit sex, gambling, intoxication, and various other forms of sinful and nefarious activities go on regularly as if they were normal. But that's not human culture, that is animal culture. Therefore, it says here, before you can get animal culture, you have to decide to develop human culture. And so the four regulative principles are the foundation by which human culture starts to develop along with the Varnashram system, which is included within the, which includes those four regulative principles. And then, of course, chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra brings one to the Praptam Ashrama, where people work or serve the Lord according to their different categories as single student or householder, family person, retired, and renounced. Now, if you want to know why Krishna consciousness is not working in your area, this is the reason. If you might say it's working to some degree, but it's not moving. If we could establish Varnashram throughout the world in our society, then the whole Krishna conscious movement will probably take over the world easily. At least the principles that this Krishna consciousness adheres to will be accepted by people in general. So this is the end. So here, as Prabhupada shows, the falsity of the caste system, which is another form of an abrogation of the Varnashram system. But if one is born in a certain type of family, they're designated according to birth. If one is born in a priestly family or a Brahmin family, then they're considered that way. And birth is an advantage, but it's not the it's not the quality of evaluation. One has to work according to one's particular varna and show by example that they can produce accordingly. That it's done by work and by results, not simply by birth. And Prabhupada said the whole Brahmanical society went down when the Brahmins started to come up with this idea that if you're born in a Brahmin family, you're a Brahmin. And Prabhupada talks about how people who are not born in a Brahmin family and how the Brahmins treated them, especially those who are in a lower caste, they and what happened was that they had no rights within society. And because they had no rights within society, the Islamic influence within India started to pick up these people, and they converted to Islam because they had no position within Hindu society or Brahminical culture, nothing. So it all came by the fall of the Brahmin class based on this false idea that if you're born in a Brahmin family, you're automatically you're designated that way. But it's qualification. Everything is based on qualification. Just like if you go for a job, you either go for on-the-job training or you have some training prior and you get the job. But you have to be trained. It's not like you can simply accept any position without any training and then go ahead and try to execute the responsibilities connected with that position. And then everybody knows that, when people hire, those who hire people, they either train them or they have previous training, and then therefore they're hired based on those two qualifications, either one. But training is always there. Education. And so if you want to go deeper into this subject matter, you can listen, you hear Srila Prabhupada's statements. There's so many on this. And there's a nice book that has been recently released by one very senior Mataji in our society, Urmila. It's called Career Dharma. It's pretty voluminous book. It's about 500 and some pages or more. And she speaks about this same thing using more generic terminologies. And she explores, along with her partner, there's two of them. The other lady's name is Rohini. I'm sorry, Rukmini. Rukmini and Umarla got together and produced this book. It's called Career Dharma. And they talk about the Varnashram system in a more disguised way, with many of the intricacies of how it overlaps into different tendencies mostly within material society. And then, of course, towards the end of the book, it gets into more direct things about Krishna consciousness. I recommend reading if you're interested in it. But I would also foremost recommend you read here Srila Prabhupada's statements on Varnashram, because he's made so many thousands, hundreds, unlimited amounts of statements on Varnashram. Prabhupada really wanted it in our society. And he said it's the foundation for development. And he said it is best applied or developed within the farm communities. Therefore, he said we have to make these farm communities, and based on the farm communities, these are the groundwork or the grasswork by which we could develop Varnashram system. So it's a very important part of the development of Krishna consciousness and of human society itself, because ultimately people are mixed up. People work simply for money and not so much for their tendency to work in a certain way. There is a small class of people who work according to what they like to do. But still, the motivation is pecuniary results or financial results. People take jobs because the money is good, or they take education based on getting a particular job because the money is good, or the money seems to be available. But money won't last. Money is not the foundation of culture. Money has a position in society, allows for certain goods and services to go on, but that can go on outside of a money system. When there is a Varnashram system, then goods and services are also done, but it's done not as a economic gain, but it's done as a service. The Brahmins serve the other classes, the Kshatriyas serve, everyone's serving. And there's exchange of goods, there's an exchange of services based on one's particular situation. The Brahmins serve by giving knowledge, direction, Kshatriyas by governing, by giving taking care of those they govern, making sure that those that work underneath them have everything they need, both materially and spiritual. The Vaishyas have developed farms, plant crops, develop agriculture, take care of cows, take care of commerce, banking, various types of economic aspects within the Varnashram culture, and the Sudras, arts and crafts, and basic activities, along with supporting the activities of the other three Varnas. And then when one is engaged in their different ashrams, and then they combine the ashram and Varna, then you come to God consciousness based on that. We see in our society devotees, because they're not working according to their propensity, or not serving according to their propensity, they don't stay fixed in their service. They jump around from service to service, from place to place, not finding that service which really inspires them. Of course, on the highest platform, when one is a pure devotee or coming to the platform of pure devotee, they can accept any service. But that is not generally how you organize the society. You do it according to how people are best able to serve. That evaluation system comes from the Brahmins, which are in the capacity of spiritual masters. It's up to them to do the evaluation and designate accordingly. And the whole educational system is systematically developed in a very organized way, led by the Brahmin society. Now, it's quite an amazing program. The more we can establish Varnashram in our system, Daivi Varnashram, that's called, the more our society will develop and more devotees will become happy and do amazing service to push on Krishna consciousness and develop their own spiritual life. You might say, well, we're chanting the holy names, we're distributing books, we're opening temples, we're making devotees. Yes, we are. But and it's not, and it's very important that all of these things continue to go on full force. But unless that social system is developed, it won't go on very quickly. It'll just drag on slowly. And people will come and people will go. Qualified people will come, not be able to serve according to their capacity. And after some time, they go outside in order to find a particular occupation to fulfill their needs rather than doing it within the society. That happens a lot. Okay, so any questions about ashram? It's a very important subject matter.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Maharaj, for such a wonderful class and a lot of powerful points. Thank you so much. Dear devotees, if you have any questions or comments or realizations, you can please go ahead now. Please turn on your cameras, if possible, so that we can all get your darshan. Maharaj, while others are thinking, I have a question like, so suppose if I have a propensity of Kshatriya or Vaishya, so do I have to strive to come up to the Brahmana level?
Well, there is the ashram system, which we give first and second initiation. Initiation is the Brahminical initiation. And that's required, that's called the complete initiation. So there are certain qualities then. That much you have to do, but the services you perform can be within the category of your propensity.
Okay. Yeah. Understood.
Yeah. You serve in a certain way, that's all.
Okay.
And this is called based on a person's nature. And the evaluation process to uncover a person's nature is based on an educational system. So we have to educate people in the different activities that make up the activities of the society. And to see where the propensities are is based on the system of education. So the Brahmins will teach various activities, and people will sign up or take a particular activity. And if that propensity of that activity is for that, it works for that person, they will develop in that way. If it doesn't, then the Brahmins will be able, as the teachers will see, oh, well, just like for example, in our Gurukul school, the kids are giving Brahminical education along with secular subjects. So Prabhupada was talking to one Gurukul schoolmaster. He wasn't just a teacher, he was the head of the whole Gurukul. And he was describing what's going on with the students. And then at one point, Prabhupada was very much pleased to hear what was happening. And then at one point, the man said, well, there's one boy in one of our classes he's always making trouble. He doesn't do the services, and he's always causing problems within the class. He's just a rebel. And Prabhupada could understand after hearing. He said, well, this boy is not meant for Brahminical education. Put him on the farm and let him work in that capacity. So sometimes if you try to give education to people who are not inclined to, you'll see it'll backfire. And so that's where the Brahmins have to evaluate and then designate according to that evaluation.
Yes, Maharaj. So all these teachings are done in the Varnashrama college or in our ISKCON temples too, who are in the level of the Brahmanas.
Well, Prabhupada, the whole system of education in ISKCON is Brahminically inclined. There's not much emphasis on Kshatriya education or Vaishya, either one. That's the shortcomings of our particular society. So we want to establish, just like I was in Mayapur just this year, and I was speaking to Jayapataka Swami about establishing Kshatriya Dharma within our society. He became very much interested when I explained how I had made an attempt many years ago to actually develop it. And it got developed to a certain degree, but then it didn't go beyond that. And he was very much inclined to it. And then he gave instructions to some of his disciples who are well established in Mayapur. He said, let's start the Kshatriya Dharma here. We should have a Kshatriya Academy. So the word was given. So that's what we need. We need education for the Kshatriyas. We need education for the Vaishyas and for the Brahmins also, of course. But the Brahmins are the ones who established the education for the other Varnas. The Brahmins are meant to be able to, in a collective sense, be able to do all of the other services too. Not that each Brahmin can do every service, but in the collective sense, the Brahmins can also teach the other Varnas. And Prabhupada makes that point. It's in that discussion with Hridayananda Maharaj in 1974 in Vrindavan, when he talks about this whole Varnashram system. Very long discussion, question and answers throughout the whole discussion. Prabhupada was very keen on getting this system going.
Yes, Maharaj. Thank you so much. Thank you. Rishabh Prabhu, you have a question?
Krishna dear Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. We were speaking about foreign ashrams, and most of the Western people where we come from are Yavanas, Mlechas, and lower. So how does that compile with the four Varnas? Is this like outside of the system because they didn't learn how to be in the system, or they are not even qualified to be of any Varnas?
Well, it says in the Shastras, Kalo Sudra Sambhavan, which means in the age of Kali, people are born Sudra. Although they have these propensities that are there, but they're covered, they're hidden, they're not aware of them. So people pretty much act like Sudra or less, because that's the society is teaching people in that way. They're being encouraged to be just workers and economic. There might be a few Vaishyas here and there. There's no real Kshatriyas. Maybe in India there are a few real Kshatriyas. And there are a few Brahmins, but how many are actually active in their capacity in their Varna? Very few. So the system is education. Take these persons you're referring to them and give them education. And the education is spiritual education. Make them a devotee. Teach them to chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Give them education based on the books of Srila Prabhupada, particularly Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, Nectar Devotion, Sri Upanishads. These are the foundations by which we educate those people you refer to. And then they become devotees, because in this age, everyone has Jagai and Madai tendencies, practically.
And second question, if I may, about the Brahminical initiation. So is it, I heard like many talks which speaking that Srila Prabhupada mentioned it's not necessary, especially it's not necessary to go back to Godhead. So what is your understanding, Maharaj, on this first and second initiation?
There's been different statements, but initially Prabhupada made a statement. He said Brahminical initiation is necessary. And he gave the analogy, just like education is divided into preliminary and higher education. So first initiation is preliminary, Brahminical is considered to be higher. He used that analogy to show that second initiation is the complete initiation. So there are people who will take certain statements that Srila Prabhupada said within a certain context. But what he's saying is that still, to go back home, back to Godhead, you have to be a pure devotee. So if you can become a pure devotee without taking second initiation, then you're successful. But Brahminical initiation helps you to develop those qualities and helps you to practice those qualities which are in the mode of goodness. In the mode of goodness, then you can come to the platform of Sudasattva, pure goodness, which is the transcendental stage of devotional activity. But if you're still in the modes of passion and ignorance, then education has not really completed. You have to come to the mode of goodness. And there's where the Brahmins are in the mode of goodness, the Kshatriyas are in the mode of passion, the Vaishyas are in the mode of passion and ignorance, combination of passion and ignorance, and the Sudras are in the mode of ignorance.
Thank you.
So yeah. And Prabhupada made that statement to Jadharani back in 1966, in the beginning, that second initiation is required. Of course, people will argue that, but the argument is based on contextual statements that Prabhupada made according to what he was discussing. Just like Prabhupada said, if you chant 16 rounds and you follow the 4 regulative principles your whole life, from the time you get initiated, you can go back to Godhead. He said that. But how does that apply in reaching the stage of pure devotional service? So we have to understand what's in Prabhupada's books is actually the standard. What Prabhupada said at different times are also according to the person he's talking to, the situation he's discussing, the subject matter. He may even sound like he contradicts himself. But that's for the sake of preaching or for the sake of certain persons that he speaks to.
That's why we have to read Prabhupada books over and over again to understand like the whole picture, not like parts of them, and just stick to that and have excuses.
Yeah, the lectures are important, but the books are the foundation by which everything becomes clear.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much. Sridevi Mataji, you have a question? For Krishna?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yes, ma'am.
I have my little grandson with me. This is Nimai. Say Haribol. Haribol. Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to Gurudev. I understand that change has to come from top down for all this Kshatriya Dharma, Vaishya Dharma to be established, because a change has a trickle down effect from the top down. But at our level, what can we do to increase awareness, increase the acceptance, increase the education for that this is necessary, for our society to make progress and for it to propagate itself nicely in society?
Well, it comes right down to using your situation to speak about it and to help to develop it. You can also speak to the leaders and encourage them that this is something that should be done. That's not against the principle of etiquette. We can also say these things should be more of a focus within our society. The leaders that are doing it, they're also speaking about it. So God has given you a tongue, so you can use it.
Believe me, Guru Maharaj, I am. In every class of mine now, people know she's going to talk about farm communities at Varnashram. One young lady told me, you always talk about farm communities. I said, yes, because it's so essential.
Yeah. How did Srila Prabhupada preach Krishna consciousness? It was repetition. Kept saying it over and over. Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He said that 8,000 times. And he said, you are his eternal servant. How many times did he say that? But do we get it? Have we ever actually got it yet? But repetition of knowledge makes it what we say, it emphasizes its importance. The more you repeat something, it gives it more and more importance. Just like they say, if you're telling someone to do something, or you're suggesting somebody to do something, if you tell them once, that may not be enough. If you tell them twice, the emphasis is there. But when you tell them thrice, 3 times, then there is no second consideration. That's why that statement, Harinama, 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 Eva Kevalam, Kalon Nasteva, Nasteva, Nastieva. Chanting the holy name of the Lord, there's no other way, no other way, no other way. The Mahaprabhu made that point. Thrice means complete. So therefore, the principle of repetition with emphasis is a principle that helps to establish something or wake people up to the importance of it.
Thank you so much, Guru Maharaj.
Thank you, Maharaj. Rishabh Prabhu, you have a question again, or can we take Sakshi Mataji? Yeah, Sakshi Mataji, please go ahead. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to you. Like rightly said, Maharaj, in many of your lectures, I've heard that how important is it to set up varnashram dharma and farm communities, and I've heard from you only that Prabhupada said 50% of his mission is still unfulfilled because of not having a varnashram dharma in the society. So even I have experienced this. Youth of my age, they are the most unfulfilled these days, and they're not satisfied with whatever field they are into because they don't know their real nature, and they are just working and they're not satisfied. They are quitting their jobs. Even because of that, I've tried to find something on YouTube that, and the book you recently, like I bought this book recently, the one you were talking about, The Career Dharma by Urmila Mataji. So I recently started reading it. It is really nice book, and yeah. So, but I'm having a hard time understanding this book. Also, the language is pretty tough for me. So yeah, I'll read it and I'll
Yeah.
share the review.
It's good. But you can listen to Srila Prabhupada's statements, and there's other smaller books that are also in line with that same topic. And there's
Yes.
I also penned one book called Krishna's Way, Natural Living. Have you seen that one?
No, Maharaj.
You're in the UK?
No, I'm from India.
Yeah, but you're in India right now.
Yeah, Indore. Recently.
In Indore.
Yes.
Oh, I was just in Indore a couple of weeks ago. And even before then, I think I distributed some of my books there. But you can see, contact some of the people in Indore. They may have a copy of my book there. Or I could arrange for you to get a copy.
Thank you so much.
Send it to you if you're interested in it. You
I
know.
recently quit my job because I was so confused. I was so frustrated with my 9 to 5 job, and even I had night shifts also. So I was very confused and I was so fed up. And because of that, I quit my job and I thought of buying this book and I'm reading it, and little bit I'm understanding. And I'm just hoping that I'll find my true nature and work accordingly to get some kind of satisfaction and fulfillment with my job, and accordingly I'll manage my Krishna consciousness.
Yeah, and also speak to the there. I gave a couple classes on that subject matter when I was there, and along with the devotees in Ujjain also. I left a bunch of books, I think, in Ujjain also. So yeah, that book you have, it has exercises in there where it helps you to perform these exercises, which helps you to come closer to understanding more about your swadharma, your nature. But if you work under the guidance of a spiritual master, that person can also help you. You can also designate, you can see what is your natural inclination for service and then engage you in that way. But if you're talking about a job in the secular world, then so because the secular world is not so much engaged in propensity, they're engaged in just getting a workforce so they can get the job done. That's why people are always going in and out of different employment activities, because either the people who run the organizations are not satisfied with the workers, or vice versa, the workers are not satisfied with the organizers. But materially, Varnashram is so upside down that if you can avoid working for the secular word and just do Krishna consciousness, you'll be happy. It'll be much easier if you're associating with devotees. Unfortunately, in indoor, there's not much of a development in that area. There's a lot of nice devotees, but there's no strong organization there to help develop that. But you can always find some services that you can do for the temple. And
Hope that
Thank you
helps.
so much.
Yeah, thank you.
It does. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
thank you, Shakti and Krishna.
Rishabh Prabhu, you want to go ahead with your question?
Thank you very much. Two questions regarding Varnashrama Dharma. One is, should we try to organize it in the city somehow? Or is it like the only way it can be developed in the farms? Should we even try to just pre-organize it somehow in the city?
In the farms, you have the environment and you have the exclusiveness of the activity, and you can organize it easily. In the cities, there are too many diversifications, too many things going on. The only way you can do it in the cities is if you have an area where all the devotees live in one place. And they just say you have an apartment complex, and all of the apartments are inhabited by devotees, then you may be able to do something. But unless there is the common environment, then things get too fractionalized, too diversified.
And this like for devotees to be close to each other, it is because of the association, or?
Yeah. That's a natural propensity of the human culture. If you usually associate with people who you like, who have the same ideas, the same activities. So as Vaishnavas, we want to associate with devotees because it helps us to become Krishna conscious And so the people who are devotees who live outside, they have to find that association by coming to the temple or going to visit their friends in another dwelling. But if it's all in the same environment, then the environment also provides the opportunities for service and association.
Yeah, I can imagine, like, okay, we have like a common housing, and then okay, we do service for the deities, for the temple, for Krishna, and also we do businesses together, I guess, in our ashram, in our avarnas, actually. And maybe
Yeah, we've accepted a compromise principle based on the initial development of our society, where people were just coming. And the temples were not able to facilitate everyone. So many people left the temples, decided to live outside and practice Krishna consciousness from there. The temples and farm communities are the foundations. And the farm communities allows for education for children. It allows for taking care of the food needs of the people involved. Everything is there. Otherwise, you have to go make money. You have to mean you have to get some kind of employment, and then you have to go spend it and get food and your basic necessities. When everything is provided by the land, Krishna has provided everything we need to live. It's there. Everything. And I use that word exclusively because I've read enough of Prabhupada's statements on this to show he shows us how everything is given by nature to live. It's not primitive either. Some people think, well, that's primitive. Yeah. It's like, for instance, this is a very crude example, but during the lockdown initially, what was one of the biggest things people were clamoring for? Silpesh is laughing because he knows what I'm. What was
Toilet paper.
toilet paper? Toilet paper. It was like becoming. They were stocking up toilet paper. I even seen some kind of humorous little things that were going on. People were playing cards and betting rolls of toilet paper. The stakes for the the winner. But devotees can live without toilet paper, isn't it? Is it possible? God has provided water, it works. So it works. So you can see how backward society is. They're just like very primitive. They don't even know how to take care of their bodies properly. So yeah, that's just an example of how God provided everything. He's provided even the resources of and that we need to live through nature. It's all there, including clothing, housing, food. Everything is there. Even the amenities that fall into the category of extras are also provided by nature. Mm-hmm. Now, now even developing certain simple technologies, such as solar panels, where you can use the sunlight to heat like that, for light, for heating. Everything is there. But it requires organization, and that's where the Kshatriyas come in. They are the organizers. The Brahmins give the direction, and the Kshatriyas do bring about the programs, and the Vaishyas and the Sudras become an integral part of making it happen. Perfect. Krishna organized this society, so it's perfect. You can't say it's imperfect. It's Krishna's. He's the one that said, this is it, Varnashram Dharma. He's the one. He doesn't make a mistake. He's not full of, what we say, assumptions. He's telling you, this is how you should live.
I guess we all want to be Brahmanas.
Well, qualified. It's based on qualification. If you have the qualifications, then you can practice Brahminical activity.
And the second question regarding souls in a woman body and an ashram, no, varna, because usually in Vedic times the woman, souls in the woman body were at home taking care of the household affairs, children, which is very important, really essential thing. So how does this reflect on? They also had their varnas. So how does training devotees in woman body in that regard? Does that mean they are going to work as managers for something, or how does that function?
They can if they have that propensity. As in within the context of Krishna consciousness.
Mhm.
Yeah. You hear about different marriages, pratiloma and anuloma. That's a mixed marriage when the husband is Brahmin, the wife is Kshatriya, or the wife is Brahmin and the husband is Kshatriya. Pratiloma, anuloma. Anuloma and pratiloma. Yeah, some people can work. Taking care of it's they say a woman's activity is glorious because if she doesn't take care of the household, if she doesn't take care of the children, if she doesn't take care of the husband, she doesn't take care of the needs of the family, and she can also do other activities, then what's the use of the rest of it? There's no support. That's why mother, according to Vedic culture, is given a higher position than father. Father is provider, mother is nourisher. She takes what is given and she makes it happen.
I guess this will be important for then in these Vanashram societies that woman takes the second backseat role more.
All
So
inclusive. Women can be Brahmins too. They can work in any of the four varnas.
Thank you, Prabhuji, for such a nice question. Maharaj, I have a follow-up on that. Like, suppose what will be the actual age of the children or the kids to take care of by the mother? So, because a mother has something in her mind to do something in the life, and kids have their own choices. So, but definitely we can't leave young children, but definitely at which point we can make them independent and do their own or be on their own.
Well, that depends on the child also. But if you use the age evaluation, generally Prabhupada said a devotee can get initiated at the age of 14. They can begin chanting japa at the age of 7 in a systematic way. You can see, if you see these kids in our society who are born in our society, kids are amazing, brilliant, sharp. These are not ordinary children. And if the parents are Krishna conscious, then they should guide their children in the same way. Even though the children may also have outside interests, that's natural. Still, they should also be engaged in some way in Krishna consciousness. How much they can, if you ask them to go on their own in today's capitalistic society, it becomes very difficult for them. But if they're on their own in a Krishna conscious society, then it can happen even at a very early age. As far as if they have association of other people of the same age. But if you throw them out the door and say, get a job, some of us could, personally, I was talking about this last night. My parents didn't give me any money. I had to work for everything. And I was doing little menial services to get money when I was like 11 years old, 11, 12, 13. My parents said no allowance because we don't have any. They didn't have any money. They had enough money just to keep the household going. Once in a while they give me something, but it wasn't like it was a regular thing. So I had to take a little job when I was like really young, 12, 14, delivering newspapers to people's houses. In the wintertime, shoveling people's snow from their driveways or from their walkways and getting money that way. But our kids are spoiled nowadays. And they are. They're really spoiled. And they want the parents to do everything for them and give everything for them.
Yes, Maharaj, yeah.
And sometimes you just have to say, if you really want anything, you can live here, but I'm not going to give you any money for your personal needs. You make it yourself.
Yes, Maharaj. Thank you so much. That helps.
I see families who are devotee families. The kids are grown up. They're in their 20s. And the parents are still supporting them because the kids can't either get a job or can't get a job. And the parents have to really work hard just to keep the kids, all the money that the kids need in order to live. Which a big part of that is their education. That's why this Van Ashram system allows for people to work according to their capacity at any age, even when they're young. Then they can produce, and they can be a component which helps the rest of the society. That's why Prabhupada wanted community and not simply living in these houses, individual houses, and into nuclear family. The nuclear family was created by the Industrial Revolution in order to facilitate economic development. It's a whole capitalistic thing, nuclear families. Those of you who grew up in India, you know the extended family was really the way you described family.
Yes.
You take that and apply it to Krishna consciousness, it's a community type of lifestyle. When I was answering Rishabh's question, I was saying that if you can't do it on the farms, you should at least do it within the environment of the cities by living all together and working more as a community instead of an individual entity. Like I saw in one community in Chicago, people were all living in around the same housing project. And so in the morning, before they go to work, they would go over to one of their houses and have Mangal Arti and do the morning program up to a certain point. And then they would sometimes take breakfast together, and then they would go to work. So they'd have their morning program in someone's house. And then they would go out to work like that. So there's different ways to somehow bring devotees together in a more unified way, based on what is needed for lifestyle and for spiritual practice.
Maharaj, for suppose if we want to change our lifestyle from this city lifestyle to the going to the farms and all, so does we get any training? Do we get any training, or is there any facilities to help us understand what will be the circumstances and how to adapt to them and all?
If you give me you're asking me this question, where do you start? First of all, understand what it means. I can suggest, if you want some information, basically, there's a movie. It's called The Biggest Little Farm. And it's about 2 hours and 30 minutes long. I haven't seen it yet. I'm looking forward to look at it. It's about a group of people who decided to get out of the cities and just go for it, for the farms. And they did. They gathered a group of people together who all had the same desire, same interest, and they worked on it. And it took them years to develop. But they did it. It was successful.
Is it ISKCON based, Guru Maharaj? Is it ISKCON based?
It's on YouTube.
Okay. And
Well, Biggest Little Farm.
okay. So these people are devotees, Guru Maharaj?
That'll give you a little idea on how to proceed in order to make things work. Sometimes we don't know where to start. But the first thing is you need a group of people who are willing to go to work together to make it happen. That's the starting point.
Yes, Maharaj. Thank you so much. I'll look into it.
Yeah.
Sukava Mataji. Sorry to hold you. Please go ahead, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you for again reminding us for the farm community and the Varnashram system, Guru Maharaj. My half the question was asked by Srimati Mataji, and you answered it. Just a little bit more on that subject matter, that I tried to talk to people about this farm community, Varnashram system. Everybody agrees to it, but then nobody is ready to do anything about it. How to motivate them in that particular way? Because everybody says, oh, we have got this commitments, we have got that commitment, we can't do it at the moment, we'll do it later on. It's so difficult how to find those people, who are ready, and how to then only we can start, as you say, that we need the devotees to be together.
Well, maybe one of the things that you can take people to farm communities in our society and let them stay there for a little while and get a feel of what it's like. We have our Gita Nagari. We have and the program in France now with New Mayapur is developing nicely. There, the president there really got fired up about it, along with the local sannyasi, and now they've been moving for 2 years. France is developing nicely now. Yeah, New Rajadam in Hungary is leading the way in Varnashram, a lot of it. Of course, there's different styles of how things develop, but the basic principle is working together as a group where agriculture is the foundation for the development. So the first thing you need to do is develop agriculture. Don't bring cows right at the very beginning, because you'll have a problem. Only when you get agriculture developed to a certain level, then you can bring in cows. Otherwise, you won't be able to manage the cows without the agricultural development. Prabhupada said the first step is grow your own food. That's where it's,
Now, another issue is the weather over here in this country, the agriculture thing.
I don't know.
One can guide us in that matter. How can we?
The UK doesn't have much of a facility for good farmland. I don't know.
Mm,
I'm not sure. You know, they say there's not too many things you can grow here, just potatoes.
exactly. It's so much restrictions in this particular country.
Yeah, you have your Sita Ram Prabhu. He's up there near Leicester. Go take some time and visit his project up there.
Okay.
That's near Leicester. Get an idea by seeing something that's already happening.
Mm. Okay. Thank you, Guru Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, anybody has any more questions or comments? Okay, if not any, I want to announce tomorrow's class. And yeah, I'm very happy to announce that from tomorrow, February 1st to 18th, we are starting a new series of Bhagavad Gita. Given Bhagavad Gita overview, that is like summaries, each chapter summary for one day. So it goes on from February 1st to 18th, and it is on the regular times, 12 p.m. UK time, 7 a.m. Eastern, and 5:30 p.m. India time. And I request everyone to please join, and even Maharaj would like everyone to see, everyone on the call.
Yeah,
To join.
maybe I can say a few words.
Yes, Maharaj, please.
Particular, it's chapter by chapter in the Bhagavad Gita with slides and also questions and answers that are given by the presenters. The first presenter is Prem Kishori, and she's the one that has developed this. She's been doing it online to people in India for years now. So she's the one that had the idea, and I thought it was a great idea to get a overview of the whole Bhagavad Gita. It's a very educational type of presentation, which helps us to understand the points of Gita, which are the foundation for spiritual knowledge. And then Bhuta Bhavana will be doing 2 sessions. Prem Kishori will be doing a session. And then self, the 4 of us. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, Prem Kishori, Bhuta Bhavana. Oh yeah, and Vrindavan Nath. Vrindavan Nath from London. So the 4 of us will be splitting those 18 lessons up over a period. And then tomorrow is the first one, and that is for Prem Kishori. She's going to introduce it and then give the first chapter. I think I give chapter number 2. Bhuta Bhavana gives chapter number 3. Like that, there's a whole schedule that's already designed like that. So please come. It's Bhagavad Gita is foundational to all transcendental knowledge. That's why it says that Bhagavad Gita, once you understand, have a working knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, then you can start understanding Srimad Bhagavatam. That doesn't mean you shouldn't read Bhagavatam, but it becomes easier to understand once you understand what Krishna has said and why he said what he said in Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita has 5 topics. Who is the Supreme Lord? What is his nature? Who are we, the living entities in the material world and different species of life? What is this material world made up of the 3 modes of material energy? What is that guiding factor that moves things along? What is that? That's called time. Time is one of the main topics. And the last one is karma, activities So these five subject matters make up the entire subject matter of Bhagavad Gita. And most of the verses are spoken by Krishna. So Bhagavad Gita is mostly Krishna's words. There's a few statements by Sanjay. There's a few statements by Arjuna, but most of it is all by Krishna himself.
Yes, Maharaj. Thank you so much. Yeah, it will be on the regular Zoom link, and I have already shared these details in our WhatsApp groups on Facebook and Instagram. I request everyone to please join. Thank you so much.
It'll be a fun thing too. There'll be questions and answers.
Yes, Maharaj. Looking forward to it. We are so excited. Thank you so much. Dear devotees, if there are no more questions or comments, I think we can end the call here. Maharaj, thank you so much for your time and association. Very valuable discussion today. Thank you all. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, His Holiness Chandramauli Swami Maharaj ki jai. Devotees, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Guru Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
Words Prabhupada. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Maharaj. Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.